martial arts can help you to develop physical skills for effective self-protection as well as personal development. It can also help you build self-confidence, self-esteem, and self-discipline. As the founder of Seibukan Jujutsu, my mission is to help students achieve a higher level of understanding using the maximum time for them to get what they need, and at the same time, spending the minimum time to get the action, the skills that they need in order for them to do well. I began my martial arts at the age of 13. It was a really hard time during that time because I was struggling with bullies all the time. Imagine someone, like a kid, 13 years old, that someone will come in and wanted to take his lunch away. And not only that, ask for money. I was conditioned by these people already. And as soon as I see them, it was time for me to give them my money, give them my lunch. It was a really tough time. I got hurt one day, really bad, and I had a friend that came over and helped me, and he said, "Let's go. I got something for you." That was the beginning of martial arts for me. When I was 15, this is 2 years later. By the way, this is me with hair. Just in case that you don't recognize me. But by that time, there was no more bullies around. It was over because how I was feeling. It was a really special time for me. It was the greatest transformation that I ever experienced in my life. It was just amazing. Something that I have been enjoying in this journey is teaching children, adults, teaching teenagers. I believe that those are the ones that gets the most because I was one of those examples. Teaching law enforcement officers, teaching people from the military, special forces. I have been teaching blind students and also students with limited mobility. And all, it has been a great experience. It has awakened me. It has done a great service to me, my students, and those that has been around me. Now I'd like to tell you the story how I became the founder of Seibukan Jujutsu. 18 years ago, I was confronted by some of my teachers. They were interested in me because they taught me well. I talked like them, and I was doing exactly what they were doing. But then they asked me something that was really tough. You must stay in the tradition. You must understand that it takes time to create somebody and become a black belt. But they were talking about this. Just imagine. They asked me, how long do you think it's going to take for someone to become a black belt? And I say, well, that doesn't take very long. Wrong. It takes at least 5 years. Well, at that time, I began to understand the concept of time because I knew they were not speaking to me. They were talking from their conditioning or what it took to them. It was very different. So I knew that I could do something different from my students, something different for the martial arts. I could contribute to the world in a different way, understanding the past, understanding the tradition, understanding what has been done, and having respect for that. But then at the same time, I said to myself, I like to create modern warriors. I want to create warriors that they can see things that they have never seen before. I want them to feel things that they have never felt before. And I would like for them to create things that they have never created before. That kept me going. And as a result, I founded this system that is called Seibukan Jujutsu. How did I do that? With the struggle that I had with my teachers, I knew I needed to do something strong, powerful, to continue with my belief, my dreams, the plan that I have, how I felt. So what I did is I found a place that is here in California, in Big Sur. Some of you might recognize this rock. This rock is called Pfeiffer Beach. This is one of the places that the local people, they actually take the sign out. So the tourists don't know that this exists. So you must go over there. So it was very peaceful for me. It gave me focus. It helped me to follow my dreams, to follow my plan. And as I gather all the knowledge, strength, and information that I have, I believe that I can make a difference in the world of martial arts. So the next thing I did was to identify my fears, something that I was never taught in martial arts. And I faced my fears one by one. I understood that we can make a difference. And I found a process that I can pass it on to my students so they can accelerate time and create what they want to create and being able to express themselves the best way possible that they can express themselves. Seibukan Jujutsu commitment was born. Many people has been transformed by this martial art. They have learned something very simple, that instead of focusing in the problem, the best way is to find the solution and never give up. Also, they found that instead of blaming someone, like including myself, I don't want to blame my teachers. I need to allow them to be who they are. But instead of blaming someone, it's about taking responsibility. It's about doing what you need to do. And the last aspect, which I think is fascinating to me, and I never knew about this before, but as it came to me, I learned that by appreciating, by having gratitude, rather than complaining, not just as a martial artist, but in everything and every aspect of life, we can become successful. And we can find friends. We can connect. We can find that peace that is really what we want deep inside. Because most of the time, what I get is students that they want to learn self-defense. But then, deep inside, I know exactly what they need. What they need is to find themselves. There are 3 concepts that I use in a real basic way: awareness, assessment, and action. These concepts are fascinating. When I present it to the student, it sounds like they never heard this before. I didn't create this. This was already there. So what I did was just put it together for them. Now I'd like to tell you of 7 stages that I created and put together that goes in conjunction with the 7 black belt levels that we have in Seibukan Jujutsu. The first stage is fire. The 3 concepts that we work on during this time of fire are initiative, speed, and determination. This is a time that they work with the emotions. Speed is not about fast or slow. It's about finding the pace of how we learn. The second stage is water. And the 3 concepts that we practice are acceptance, flow, and adaptability. When we talk about acceptance, we're talking about allowing students and people to be who they are. and I allow myself to be who I am. It's about respect that we constantly use in the martial arts. The third stage is earth. This is when the students find their ground. They feel center. The fourth stage is the wind. This is when the students practice flexibility, spirit, and sensitivity. During this time, what they do is they really face their fears. The fifth stage is the void. This is when you make a connection with the divine. And also you have a great appreciation for the sources of creation. The next one is consciousness. And the three concepts that we practice are intuition, observation, and wisdom. And when I talk about observation, I'm not talking about just using your eyes, using your five senses. And the last one is creating balance. And to create balance, we need to understand about our intention, creativity, and healing. And I use healing as the last concept, which is Mesa concept number 21, because I feel that that's really what we need. Now, I would like to take this moment to do a demonstration for you. It's going to be short, so I warn you, don't blink. It's one of those things that if you do blink, you will miss it. And I don't think you can rewind the tape either. Please be aware that what I'm going to present here has nothing to do with violence. The attacks that you will see is really to prepare the students to be clear with themselves, to have self-discipline. Thank you. You know what's great about this is that I didn't mess up my hair. I like that. You guys are great. Thank you very much.